This is the second part of my vlog related to the book called Tatta Ichido no Jinsei o Kaeru Benkyo o Shio. The book is related to the life-changing study, and the book have break into 5 main chapters, and each chapter is actually called a period, like in one single day. When you are in the school, you actually will study 5 periods in Japan. So the first period is related to simulation, and the key topics about simulation is try and find. So the key for the simulation is try and find the power of simulation. So the first thing that the book stated is the most important thing is why and what for we actually studying is actually something that we really missing in the current education. That's why many of the students lack of motive to study. So in order for the student to be able to find out why they need to study, they need to actually build or grow or cultivate the power of why. And in order to cultivate the power of why, the simulation is very important. And simulation in another name is the thinking power, the power of how we define things, and how we solve things, how we think about things. When we mention about the thinking, there's many level of thinking. Like for example, when you're hungry, are you thinking? Feeling is thinking, or you want to rest, is it thinking? Yes, it's one type of thing that actually stimulated by the brain, but it's not a high level type of thinking. So in order for us to develop into a good human being, we need to developing a good quality thinking. So the first step of the good quality thinking is asking a good question, and a good question will lead to a good why, and a good why will lead to the big idea where it actually can change the world or change something that you currently do. Why you're doing this, why people are doing that. So simulation is combination of you are simulating the situational thing. So instead of people don't have experience, you can actually let them experience some certain thing in a shorter period of time or in a controlled environment. This is the first key. The second key is the learning platform to stimulating people to think in a different way. So normally in a learning mission, we should not start everything with just a knowledge, but we need to have some certain assumption about knowledge. Knowledge means knowing. The state of knowing is knowledge. So knowing could be from others people, or it come from yourself. So so the hypothesis for the new modern world is, first of all, you need to believe that you can learn anything. You can learn anything, it's just whether you want to learn or not. And in the current platform like internet, how we're developing a network with people, it will allow us to find the answer real quick. So you just check, read, and at the end you just know. In the world, they're saying that you have 2 different type of eye when you actually see the knowledge or the world, or the different type of capability, or in the book called power. The first thing is we call more naive, more basic power, naive learning eye. We could call this possessing power. Possessing power is something like in the original days, when you actually want to learn something, the calculation will be a basic. reading will be a basic. So basic thinking will be a basic. So, but this is not enough. In the modern days, it doesn't say that you don't need this, but this is the basic for you to actually use to learn something new. The second thing is the critical thinking eye. So, other than the processing power, you need to have a critical thinking power as well. The word critical is actually often critical mean criticize. Criticize mean that find faults or making a doubt or asking some question that actually on the loophole, on the weakness of thing. But the word critical in English also mean essence or the mean important. So critical thinking mean that you think essence or you think at the core of things instead of you just think on the outside or the surface. Look into the essence of things. So critical thinking then mean ask the right question and go to the essence of things. So I think a lot of people are actually misunderstanding critical thinking. And then the other one is you need to keep your eye on different angle when you actually look at simulation. First, the most important in simulation is you need to be able to find your own ideas and your own hypothesis. Hypothesis in English means your own assumption or the question that you want to prove whether it's right or wrong. And the second part is about observation and realization. I think important process is for you to be able to observe what actually happened and realize some key evidence that actually could lead you to some certain answer. And the third is to pursue satisfying answer. So I think in the book the concept is in the modern days you don't need to be right. You don't need to feel good after you find the answer. You just need to be satisfied with the answer. And I think a lot of people when you buy your product, they just want to satisfy with the solution. They don't want the answer. They don't want to feel good. They just want to feel satisfied. I think there's a word said from Edison saying that it's not about 2,000 times of failure, but it's about 2,000 steps closer to the success. And I think simulation is actually the same thing. You try and then you actually go closer to what you want. So give the example of the most fundamental groundbreaking scientific observation, like Newton's case when he observed the apple drop. The first thing is there's a fact information, the apple just dropped, and there's some certain doubt that why the apple dropped. So and you just actually need to find the realization. So first you need to find fact. Second, you need to have a hypothesis. Third, you need to realization, mean observe and find something significant. And number 4 is actually proof. And this is going to be a repeated process. So you would be able to end up find out, go closer and closer, like Edison said that the more in loop time of simulation will make you go closer and closer to the solution that you are looking for. So there's a few that you can actually do. Like in the modern days, the business class, I think the thing is you want the people to start the business. I think startup will become a new norm in a new era of the study as well. A lot of people actually start learning business by doing a startup. And the word learn in English, L-E-A-R-N, I think for me myself, actually I noticed that learning, the first L, capital L is really different, but if the small l is the same with the capital I, you can actually set learn, L-E-A-R-N, equal to I earn. If you simulating a situation in the business that if I gonna earn in the future or how I gonna live with my own self, what I should do, I think this one will actually will give a lot of power for the people to do a lot of hypothesis and the loop of realization. I think finding what type of job is actually right for you is a good simulation too. So you should simulate whether if you're gonna be a doctor, you should observe the fact, put a hypothesis, do some certain realization whether you like it or don't like it, and really prove whether it's really something that you want to do. And that's the basic process, and that's very important in a normal life. But we ignore this process. So it end up the period one of the the book. So simulation power, the power of try and find a solution.